Hello there, it's Rachel Palmieri in Melbourne, Australia. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and my blog is Stamping Pals. I wanted to share with you a brochure that you mightn't have seen yet. It's just a small brochure that comes out at the same time as the annual catalogue back in June, and it runs for the same length of time also, so through until the 3rd of May 2021. We're changing up the release dates of the catalogue so that you'll get a new annual catalogue in May as well next year. And this brochure was put out because when people are beginning to stamp, they often find the whole process quite confusing. They perhaps get put off by the fact that they need to get so many things, when really it's a lot simpler than that. So towards the back page, they have a list of what they consider essential items, and I would tend to agree that that's pretty much right. So a paper trimmer, a pair of snips. Of course you don't have to invest in the Stampin' Up one straight off. Stampin' Seal is an adhesive that replaced snail that we had previously. It's a really effective and not messy way of adhering things. Mini glue dots. I have them here. Oopsie, put that down for a second. You can barely see them. They're just there, but they're really effective at holding on bows, buttons, wooden embellishments, and some of those harder things to stick. Often just a sprig of the stem of a leaf or something is much better just with a little glue dot rather than trying to do it with glue. And the Simply Chamois for cleaning your stamps. And then they have a variety of stamps in here and kits. Now some of these also appear in the annual catalogue, but this particular stamp set, 4-Season Floral, doesn't. However, it goes rather well with the one I've forgotten the name of at the moment. It's the one that goes with Flowers for Every Season, maybe called Flowers for Every Season in fact, which has the jar and some larger arrangements. Well, this is quite interchangeable with that particular set. Now they've got a bundle in this catalogue too. For $80 you get the stamp set, you get a D block which is that size, you get a pack of cards and envelopes which already have the flowers on them, and then you can decorate like this, and you get the 2 stamping spots. So these are only 1 inch square, but they give you Just Jade and Magenta Madness, which are 2 of the in colours. A nice way to give them a try out to see if you like them. They're also quite handy with the Stamparatus because that way you don't get ink all over the place. And I've made, I've made 1 stepped up card. I have partly made the basic card and then one in the middle that isn't quite as complicated I'll be making for you today. So anyway, keep that one in mind if you want to try some simple stamping. And I may have more for you in that line. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you is we also have packs of note cards which are slightly smaller than a standard card at that size, but they come with envelopes, and if you're just beginning, they might be ideal for trying out. So they come in white, which is Whisper White, and very vanilla. And I think they're $12.75 for a pack of 20. Now I kept this one to show you. My simple stamping was basically just 2 flower stems and a little thank you down there, which anyone can achieve, and then you can write your little note off to someone to thank them for their kindness. But of course I did what we all do at some stage, and I smudged with ink. And it really was a little bit too big to hide with a sequin or something like that. So I decided that I was going to show you how another way to cover up mistakes. So we just call them a new design feature, and I'm going to try and sort of get my stamp over the bit that was oopsied and stamp down, and we're going to end up with another one up there. Whoops. That will get coloured in now. Now I thought, for look, something as small as this image, it won't matter what you use to colour. Because I used Memento ink, I'm restricted. Well, no, I'm not restricted at all. I can't watercolour, but I can use the Stampin' Up markers as I am. I could use the stamping blends, or I could, what else could I use? Coloured pencils, of course. Now, we have coloured pencils at Stampin' Up, but you know, if you're starting out, you can grab your children's or grandchildren's and use those. So first of all, I used Daffodil Delight, and a little bit like when you use blends, I've picked a darker colour just to go over a few spots. So, and I might comment that I think that I may have rushed in and started colouring this just a bit too quickly, because the image looks to me like the ink has run a little bit, which is a bit disappointing. But nevertheless, that's what you get when you try and rush things, isn't it? Alright, so you've got your simple note card. Now you could also put a little something onto the envelope. I can see that that's not going to stamp evenly. And I'll put it partly off, I think. And I probably wouldn't bother to colour in an image that's going in the post. Another choice is to do it on the back, which can be nice too. Alright, so that's your beginner or basic card. Now, for the second card, I have already stamped the image. I sort of stuck to the same idea as the basic card, but I brought in another flower that comes in that stamp set. I don't know what it is, but I decided that it was a bluey mauve colour, and I just stamped it alongside. Now, there's nothing particularly skillful about that. It's just a matter of inking it up. With the photopolymer, it pays to have a look and see that you've got nice coverage on your stamp when you're going to stamp. And I use a pad underneath. So we have, it's a piercing mat. And it was taken out of the catalogue, but they are available. I would just have to look up the code number for them if you wanted to order one. They were about $10, I think. When you're using photopolymer, you need something to cushion the stamping, because with red rubber they actually have this little foam cushion in there as well. So it's not as important then. You can stamp on a firm surface and there isn't a problem. But photopolymer needs just a little cushioning. So as I said, I cut this out. I also happen to have a piece of Whisper White that was already die cut with a stitched rectangle die. Now, you know, you wouldn't have to be doing that. You could cut a piece that measured 7.5 by 11 centimetres with your paper trimmer, and I used some of our linen thread, which is a really good standby to have, and I wound it around about 3 or 4 times actually, to get a nice little wedge there. Then I still wasn't happy that that was enough, and for my stepped up card I used some of this paper, and so I thought that for this particular card I would use it in behind the image. So this is, you know, the middle of the road card that you should be able to do without too much trouble at home by yourself. How wide is that? All right. Of course, both sides of the paper are beautiful. I'll show you the paper in a minute. I'm not using grid paper today, and now I'm thinking, I'm hoping that's straight. It's always a wee bit hard to tell. Now I think I might put that up on dimensionals just for a little bit more. Now if you put an order for that pack through my online store, I will post you a packet of dimensionals so that you will have those as well. That will be an offer that's good until the end of August. Which isn't all that far away, is it? Now I just realised that I hadn't put any greeting on this particular card. So I was going to So I'm just decorating the inside of the card. There's different ways you can do it. I often put it just along the bottom, and sometimes I mount it onto cardstock and place it up the card a little bit. You can stamp the insides of your cards. There's that. So I particularly wanted yellow for the flower, and I was a bit stuck on which of the papers had it, and I went through all my 12 by 12s and I couldn't find it, and it was sort of last minute, and I realised that Playing with Patterns is the one that has the I guess it's probably the new yellow Bumblebee, but it goes really well with crushed curry. Or maybe it is crushed curry that's in there, I don't know. But these are, and look, there's such diverse colours that one side or another can go with so many different things. And often on a card, all you need is a 2-inch strip, which is 5 centimetres, across the belly, like I have on that one, just to provide another point of interest, something to ground the image that you've stamped. That might be the last piece. I love that one. I love multicoloured spots anyway. So this is my stepped up card, and it's got everything, well, pretty much everything. I stamped the 3 daisies out onto a bigger sheet of Whisper White and used the stitched rectangles, this particular one here in the middle of the large amount, and cut those out. Now there is a trick to it. You have to actually find a point on your die and place your stem at that point on every single one, and sort of eyeball the flower petals are in pretty much the same position to get them all lined up neatly like that. It's not too tricky, but you know. Then I coloured some leaves from the Celebrate Sunflowers set after stamping them and popped them in behind. This embellishment is In Good Taste element. Now they're a great set, and they go with so many of our different stamp sets that are out at the moment. So I used that one, but this one is very good to put on as well. And this is a little random one. We only got 1 sheet of that in the pack and 3 of those. So I'm finding them quite useful anyway. I also used the Artistry Bloom sequins, which are self-adhesive and come in 5 shades. I showed you the blue one when I pulled it down before to show you how we could cover over an oopsie. And I used this braid on this one rather than the linen thread. It's need to read it in English. I can't read it in the other languages. Braided linen trim, and you can pull it out like so to, you know, change the look of it a bit. I do like it. I like all these rather natural things like wood and linen and so on. Now, I used the embossing folder from the Good Taste suite as well. Forgotten the name of that one, but you'll find it in there with that suite. The DSP from Playing with Patterns, and then I've done the inside much the same as this one. So there you have it. You've got a stepped up card. You've got one for the Happy Crafter, and a basic one for if you're just starting out. As I said, if you're wanting to purchase anything, if you're wanting to grab that little bundle, you'll find it on the online site, but it's 155,422, $80 for the pack, and I will post you a pack of stamping dimensionals. Alright, so you can find me on Facebook, search for Stamping Pals. There's links to my online shop at all of those places, or you can get in touch with me directly. Alright, till next time, bye.